we don't know you for a sec, Lisa.
Okay. Maybe you'll learn something new. Maybe I'll surprise you. Maybe there'll be something that...
I'm sure there is so much.
All right, guys. For those of you who are joining us and you don't know what Eat and Greet is, for 2016, the Smart Chicks Coterie members, which is our free Facebook group, was having lunch with us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock Adelaide time. So basically, if you're a Nigel No friends, solo entrepreneur, totally don't have a friend in the world on a Tuesday, you can come and have lunch with us and be inspired for 30 minutes, right? So we wanted to welcome Lisa Brincat, who is 50% consultant, to come and chat to us today and have lunch with us.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you, whether it's sort of random thoughts in the middle of the afternoon or when it's actually in phase. As you said, I'm one half of Tipping Point Consultant. My other half, Ellie, she lives in the Netherlands, which is why she isn't here today. Hopefully she's sleeping. Ellie, if you are watching this on live feed, go to sleep.
That's right, good.
So we run a business that helps ambitious mums with their money confidence, ambitious women with their money confidence. So we looked at some of the statistics around how how confident women are with their finances, and the highest group of women who are confident with their money is the 25 to 30-year-olds or 25 to 35-year-olds, and that's about 30% of them are confident with money. So it's that's the highest of any age group across women. And we also looked at the fact that there's lots of talk about gender equality and what we can do to create gender equality, and also around what the pay gap is between men and women. And we started to realise as we started our business that actually by not looking at your numbers, by not looking at what you're going to pay yourself, and by not looking at what the market is for your pay elsewhere in the world, we're actually contributing to that gap. By not really owning that space, but we acknowledge, we both of us are from professional services backgrounds. We acknowledge that there is a bit of the blue tie brigade, that it can be daunting to go and talk to people who talk in jargon. And apologies if I still throw some jargon in there. Who talk in jargon, who potentially say things that make you feel like a bit yucky, like, oh, like I don't know, or maybe if I ask that question, I'm going to look like an idiot. Yeah. All of those sorts of things. And we just wanted to step into that space and try and make it a safer space. Yeah. And also impart as much knowledge as we can, so as that when and in all different realms, whether it be pricing, whether it be how you set up your finance structures, to what your actual mindset is, and how that's playing out for you in terms of your belief set.
Awesome. Pricing, I'm glad you said that, because outside of this I might actually pick your brain on some of that.
Sounds good.
How about we go right back to the beginning, and you can tell us, Lisa, a little bit about kind of your journey and what's brought you to the world of entrepreneurism, and obviously into this space of really helping people to learn and understand that.
Okay, yep. Back when I was 15, I started my working life in McDonald's. It was my first job. It was 14 and 9 months I signed up, and I saved a little bit of money, and I started to think, what could I do? Like, what could I do with it? And
this is a lot of money. Like, even though it would have been a little bit per hour for a 14-year-old, like I imagine my 14-year-old, and he's desperate to now start to really find a way that he can earn some money. So yeah, for you, I can imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I saved my $300, and I went to a free share seminar, and with my mum, and I said to the guy there, like, I have $300. It's my life savings. What can I do with it? And he's like, well. And he thought about it, and he's like, I can't give you recommendations, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But then he's like, well, the minimum number of shares that you can buy is 100, and Woolworths is $2.95. So I think you could probably buy 100 shares of Woolworths. They're about to go into fuel. You know, that they're a blue stock share. You could look at that. So I bought my 100 shares in Woolworths at 15 under my mum's name.
Yeah.
But it was a major shift for me because all of a sudden I was with my friends and they were working at Woolworths and they were complaining about the conditions or the hours or the what was happening, and I was like, I'm a shareholder. Like, I'm going to get a dividend from you. It was a bit of a shift for me in terms of, you know, okay, what do I want to learn about? I started university in a science degree because I always loved maths. I've always been a bit weird like that. I really got interested in what makes business tick and what the language is. I kind of saw my business degree as learning a language. Gave me the ability to talk in the way that business people talk. So I did that. I, at the time, read a book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which made me look at it and say, well, employees and self-employed people trade their time for money.
Yep.
And business owners trade a team for money and investors trade assets for money. So at 19, I took my money from Brumbies by that stage. I was working in a bakery. And I bought my first investment property.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be in the investor space.
Yep.
And quite literally it was going to another seminar where somebody said, well, anyone can be an investor.
Yeah.
They just have to start. That helped me switch because I was like, oh, I'm too young or But anyway, I went through the motions. I spoke to the bank. I looked for what I could get with all the criteria that was there at the point in time. And I bought my first investment property. I started working as an accountant at Deloitte in business restructuring and insolvency.
Yeah. And
started to see why businesses don't work and what happens when they fail and the impact of how they fail. And I'm a little bit of a sensitive soul, and I found it really tough because we would go in and it would be 200, 300 people losing their jobs and the impact that they had on their family and stuff like that. And it just became clear to me that running a good business, running a sustainable business, running a profitable business is really important, not only for the business owner, but for the people that are employed for them, the customers, and it ripples out really. So changed my focus and started to help businesses who were growing in the consulting space. Nearly all of my work since then, sort of business strategy work, has been around helping people to, first of all, make decisions with their numbers, and then also to look at what else they can do to make things better and how they can pull all sorts of pieces together to actually make progress.
Yeah.
So, and then I started Tipping Point Consultant about a year and a bit ago now, a year and a half ago, and just saw the space where women were kind of saying things like, I'm not in it for the money. I just want to help people. I'm getting a lot of grief from my husband. I don't want to go back to work, but this is why I'm doing this. And I just felt really passionate about mixing the two together so as that, you can, because I understand, there's lots of pressures with being a mum. I'm a mum with a 5-year-old and a 9-month-old. But I strongly believe that if you have a big picture and you chunk it down and you move towards it every day, then you're going to get there, and you're going to potentially, if you overlay the numbers, you're going to get there quicker because you can actually see what's going to have the most impact and how that's going to kind of help your business grow.
Yeah, it's really exciting, isn't it? Like it's exciting for me to think about what we're doing with Smart Chicks and the way we're really encouraging women to be able to run their own business. And some of them will always remain relatively small. They won't necessarily grow to have a big team, but others over time will be able to develop a team, and they might not be all full-time, but they'll be, you know, different team members that are working, helping them out and doing things that probably have businesses of their own. And yeah, it's exciting to think that we can all be a part of helping in that space, and just the power that it can have just in having people see that it's possible.
Absolutely. And I think for me, it's about the conscious choice. So, you know, I'm not at all advocating that everyone wants a 6-figure or a 7-figure kind of business. But I think that it's just as powerful to say, well, I want my business just to pay me $100 a week because I'm going to go on a holiday at the end of the year, or I'm going to contribute this much off our mortgage, or I'm going to invest that in shares to help my kids as they grow up. So the purpose can be completely different and the amounts can be completely different, but it's being really conscious about how you trade your precious time for what you get back for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's normal as well. Like, I think a lot of people do start talking about the fact that, oh, I'm not here for the money, I'm just here to help people. And like that, I think that the situation is that they genuinely believe it until they've actually met other people that start shifting that mindset on its head. And it's only then that they kind of go, oh, actually, I've just realized that I actually do want to make money, and I'm actually really triggered by money. So now I'm going to admit to myself that it's not just for the fun of it. It's not just for the love of it. Well, it is for those two things as well. But it's okay for me as a mum with 2 kids that are like dragging at my leg 24/7 to also be a profitable business person and not feel guilty about the fact that I'm taking money from people.
Yeah.
And I'm giving them the status that they want.
And I think I've said this before, and I don't know if I've said it on an Eat and Greet, but the membership, like I listened to a podcast that was with a membership guru, and it was the first time I'd really heard it put this way, and I think I said to Cassie this the other day, but when we work, and especially in a heart-centered, service-based sort of space, in helping people, we can only help them by being there. So if we're earning money, we can continue to be there, and your business can grow even more, and it can be more enjoyable, and it can be more sustainable and be long-term. If you're not getting paid what you're worth to do it, and I don't mean what you're worth as in we're worth whatever, I just mean if you're not getting for the value you're giving out, if you're not then getting something that makes it something you can continue to do, you're doing a disservice to the people you're helping by not getting paid to do it, because you'll eventually burn out and stop doing it. And
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think it's not to take away from, none of what we do is to take away from the fact that it takes time, and that it takes, you know, that it's not, there's no, as far as I know, there's no magic wand. I'll let you know if someone turns up. But it's also, I suppose, the other thing that you know, I'm really passionate about is probably overlaying your business picture a little bit with your personal picture, because it's a bit like comparing, I don't know, it's a bit like comparing the same dress on different bodies or something like that. Like, if you don't, it's very easy to look at somebody's business and somebody's position, but not see what's playing out below that, and in their personal finance piece as well. So often when we work with clients, it's also a little bit of a matter of saying, okay, well, what does survival look like for you? And are there there's multiple paths to get to the same place, and are you actually taking a path of ease for you at the moment? And you know, because you're going to get to your goal if you have that picture, but let's explore all the different ways that you can get there without it necessarily being heartbreaking and stressful and you know, fraught.
Yeah.
People also struggle with the fact that maybe, you know, the whole conversation, like, if it doesn't feel right, then you got to stop and follow the energy, like whatever. Sometimes people can kind of confuse fear and not knowing what to do next with, oh, it must be my gut instinct telling me that this is wrong and I need to stop. So like the whole up-leveling thing that happens, the alping that what Gay Hendricks talks about. Yep. So you find that, Lisa, with money blocks, people kind of almost trip over themselves and make excuses for their own upper limit issues and even not even awareness of their own blocks. Maybe is that kind of something that happens?
I think it does happen. I think it's probably a bit it's probably a little bit, it's my accountant background as opposed to my heart-centered background, that says that when you own your numbers and when you actually look at it and you say, and you're making decisions from that space, so you can, if you know, for instance, that you need your 5 clients, you know what the price is that you need them at for that week or for that month or whatever it is, and then you get somebody who comes along and you get that gut feeling from them, then you're knowing then, okay, well, if I turn them down, I can still get to what I want to get to by getting my 5th person somewhere else, and I've already got my 4 and I know how much I need to do, and this is what the thing. Or you can make a decision which says, okay, well, I know I've got to do 1 session with them or 2 sessions with them, and that clicks me over to where I need to get to. But I think the main thing is that it's tough when you're I think where it flicks into a place of fear is when you may not have a good feeling, but you're not actually sure the impact that it's going to have on you, your home, your piece of the puzzle as well. Whereas if you've got all that information there, at your fingertips, which is, this is how many people, this is what my prices are, this is how it's going to get me closer to my goal. If this doesn't work, here's what I'm going to do in the next 3 months after that to adjust my strategy and get me closer to my goal again. Yeah. Then all of a sudden it's taking out a lot of that emotion around that particular person, because it's like, okay, well, I can work with you, I can not work with you. If I don't work with you, here's what I know I need to do to still get to where I want to get to.
Yeah. And so if we wanted to work with you, Lisa, or if the people watching want to work with you, how does that kind of look? Like, do you do one-on-one? Do you do groups? Do you do online courses? How does that kind of work? We do one-on-ones, and we do courses, and we also do specific deliverable things. So our most, I suppose our most expensive and our most thorough service is our business plan service. So we help with people who are looking at business plan and investor pitches when they're, either sometimes it's going to the next level. Well, we need to approach a bank, or we need to approach an angel investment panel or something like that. Sometimes it's because they want to put money into their business, and actually the investors are much closer to home. They're a husband, they're a family member, and they want to have everything that's going on in their head kind of in one spot, so that
they can prove it, and it's not just them talking.
Yeah, and business plans, in my view, are really about that idea that you're here and you want to get here, and there's multiple pathways that you can take to get there, and you have a much better view of what those pathways are, and also what the financial piece looks like if you take different pathways. So pathway A may take a longer amount of time than pathway C, but if you know what those 2 financial pieces look like there, then it's much easier for you to make that decision. We do one-on-one coaching, which is around really taking your business to a profitable business. And it starts with what it is that you're good at, then who you're looking to serve, what the financial piece needs to look like to make that profitable, what's your business model, and then how can you start to package up what you know. So what does it look like if your services and stuff that's stuck in your head actually comes out and is shown, what it is that you're doing around your brand. And then the last piece that we do that we're really passionate about is outsourcing in that program. So we being mums short on time, we're really big advocates of having your business earn enough money so as that you can outsource and not do it all yourself, because once you're doing it all yourself, it really is the fast way to burnout, not only because of time, but also because you're actually not good at everything. In your business. I've never actually met anyone who can, Ellie's pretty close, I'll be honest. Ellie's pretty close to being good at everything. But it's much more sustainable to actually draw in people that have the really, specific skills. And then our course, our Money Confidence course, is a self-directed learning course. And it's all about breaking down what do you want to pay yourself, how are you going to get there, and then sorting out any of the blocks, whether they be blocks because your pricing's not quite right, whether they be blocks because you're not quite sure how you're going to get the people through the door, whether they be blocks because you've got something going on with your belief set or your money mindset. And we offer a service as well that's around pairing the course with us actually doing some one-on-one consults with you, because not everyone loves self-directed. They like to, they're prepared to sort of pay that little bit of premium to dig in and make it custom to their situation.
Yeah. So,
that's great.
Lisa, okay, so for the people playing at home, right? Yeah. And Ellie quite a lot. They're like our big sisters in business because they've got a company, now we've got a company. We employ profit first, now we want to do that. So we always ask you guys questions behind the scenes and kind of have mini masterminds.
Yeah. I'm sure you're about 2 weeks from it being a flip, but that's okay. And you'll be the big sisters.
So it's nice to have people that we know, like, and trust that we want to chat to as well. But where I was going with that was, you give us gold nuggets all the time. So what gold nuggets do you have that you want to give the guys that are watching? Because you've got a gazillion of them, we know that. But what are the ones that, the juicy ones?
Yes.
Probably the first gold nugget that I have is that often you end up in a place where you're beating yourself up about not making enough money. But what I think, what I like to share with people a lot of the time is that money is like water in a pipe. And you've got to have, for money to flow, you've got to have enough gradient. So you've got to be providing enough value. So there's got to be a strong enough difference between where somebody is now and where they need to get to. So that value has to be, the higher the gradient of that pipe, the more money that you will find flow. And you've got to sort of say, well, am I in the right position to make that pipe bigger? So is it in a point where I can actually, capture more of it? And one of the easiest ways, I think, to really look at that is around, first of all, how clearly have you articulated what it is that the value is? Like, here is where somebody is before, here is what they'll be after. But the second is about actually searching out places where other people are in flow. So if you consider the pipe, if you put a pipe somewhere and it's not connected to a tap, it doesn't matter how much you beat that pipe to make it bigger, or there's still no water going to go through because you're not actually connected to a tap. So it's really important to have a look in your business as to who's already got money flowing around them, and then why you can add value to them. Because sometimes we're trying to be in a space where we're not actually connected to other people who are already in successful businesses or careers or things like that. So it's quite important to, which is probably the offline strategy sometimes.
I think that's really, it is a nugget, because I think particularly if we're in a business where we're servicing or helping others, if the people that you're targeting or speaking to are people that just can't afford the value you have to offer anyway, then like you said, they just aren't actually your ideal client. So you've got to make sure that your copy and what you're doing and who you're talking to are the right people.
Yeah, and I think the second one, sometimes the reason we don't go there is a bit of the money mindset. So we think, well, if we're helping people who are running successful businesses or high paid jobs or something, that they will be less heart-centered, less caring, more likely to, screw us over or something. But it's all, I think it's about setting the intention of who you're going to meet in those spaces. And because obviously that really draws those people into you as well. I'm trying to think what other gold nugget I can offer there. The big one for me is to, it's probably fairly obvious, is to actually spend the time to have a look at what your business is going to look like, kind of when it's done, even though businesses are never done, but give that sort of stake in the sand that says, okay, what am I going to, what are things going to look like, whether that be a few years out. And that makes every action then much more aligned to where you want to get to. And it means that, again, any of the sort of self-talk that goes around, why aren't I there yet? And I'll be honest, I still have that. Ellie's forever telling me that we can have margaritas on the way up the mountain. We don't have to wait till we're at the top.
Yeah. That's a nugget right there. That is a nugget right there. Don't forget things on the way in the journey.
Absolutely. But if you've got that view of where you're going to get to, then each day as you do stuff, it's actually self-reinforcing to get you to where you want to get to. And you don't end up in a position where it's like, like I've thrown myself out in like one of those little splat globs, and then you're wondering like, how do I get back together again? So it just makes and the clearer you are about where you want to go on the big picture, the more stuff comes into your life that helps you with that. Yeah. Like if you guys didn't have this big vision, would the grant have even come across your radar?
Yeah.
So the clearer you can be about those big things and where you're going to get to, the more random shit comes into your life to make it happen.
Yeah.
Because our thoughts become our things. That's
exactly.
true.
That's right. Well, we did the brand day. Like if we hadn't have even gone through and done all of that, which really helped us go from big picture down and then break up what all those things are, you definitely wouldn't necessarily achieve as much, do as much, believe you could do as much, or have other people believe that you could do it too. And because I think in everyone's success, it comes about from, believing you can do it, even if you have the bumps and that along the way that you don't achieve, but always believing that you're going to be able to achieve it. So no matter what the time frame is.
Yeah, exactly. And my last nugget is about that personal finance piece. So as you build your business, it's around saying, okay, well, where am I? Because I think that, if you're not looking at, if you're not looking at where that cash flow goes, both on a personal and a business sense, you're essentially not giving yourself that extra time that you may need to open up different options if something's not actually working as you would have liked it to work. And I think particularly for mums, if you end up in a position where you're feeling really up against the wall, that's not good for you. It's not good for your business. It's not good for your family. So I suppose bringing, even if it's scary, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it tells you things that you don't want to hear, it's still something that the earlier you can do it, the more options it gives you, the more time it gives you to start to see where you might need to adjust your actions.
Yeah, I think, the whole tracking thing, knowing your numbers and knowing how it's all tracking, where the water's leaking out the pipe.
Exactly.
At least you can then know, absolutely, you can change stuff, but if you don't know it, you just can't.
Yep.
All right.
So Lisa, tell us, obviously people are going to be lining up to work with you. I can guarantee you. You've got a big presence in the Smart Chicks Coterie, and obviously now also as a guest speaker at Smart Chicks, we've got you in the members.
Yeah.
And now today, so it's like a big accumulation. So you're getting a big presence, particularly in that group. So for the guys that are in the Coterie who are not paid members, we always like to give them a bit of an offer to work with the people on Eat and Greet. But then the guys that are paid members as well, we like to give them like a sneaky special offer that's even better than the original offer. So have you and Ellie come up with something that you'd be happy to share with the guys?
Yeah, so we have our money confidence course, which is $99 normally, and to have 2 sessions with us, which actually help you work through that process. So it takes you right through income goal, what it is that you're going to, how that's going to look for you, particularly useful as we go into a new year, so you can reset that and say, okay, am I on track? Having a look at your profit first method, what your percentages might look like, all of that sort of stuff. So having us actually help you work through that course, our offer for that is for the Coterie is the $350 US, which is about I looked at it before I got on. Now I can't remember. 40 Australian.
Yes.
And so our special offer for the members is that they'll get not only that process, they'll also get a wealth dynamics profile test, which is normally valued at $99 US as well. And the wealth dynamics profile test is really, really fantastic because it helps you define what that gradient is. So it really puts you in your zone of genius. And then there's, well, what clients based on that do I need to attract, because this is where they find value, and then how am I going to set up my outsourcing so as it makes sense for me.
Yes.
And now I'm going to swap currencies because of my, put on the spot. But ultimately that package for the members, which is our course, plus the wealth dynamics, plus 2 sessions with us to work through it, is $300 Australian for the Smart Chicks members.
For the members.
Holy
fantastic.
moly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really?
So yeah, it's a great, we wanted to make it sort of probably inevitably a repeated offer, but we really want to, we really appreciate what you girls are doing in terms of the Smart Chicks community, and also feel passionate about, helping people, especially at this time of year, to get that sorted for next year.
Get on top of the numbers.
Lisa, seriously, sold to Smart Chicks. Seriously, what we'll need to do is if you can write that offer up, Kirsty might even be able to chuck it up the top of the YouTube link that goes up later today or something.
Yep.
But if you can actually make sure that you promo that tomorrow for Wednesday promo day, that would be great.
Okay. Yep.
Awesome.
So just so I'm clear, $350 US for the course and the 2 sessions for the Coterie, $300 Australian for the course, the 2 sessions, and the wealth dynamics
assessment
profile assessment.
Yep. Yeah. Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Before Christmas.
Starting point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Holy moly. Yeah, so make sure we put the time frame on that.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
Yay.
No, it's something that potentially, and I'll make sure that the message goes out to the people that did speak to me, that did listen to me speak on Friday. I went into, or maybe the people that watched in the members lounge, the wealth dynamics profile, is a huge bonus. It's really, really enlightening for a business. Obviously, with numbers, I suppose we're biased because it's our service, but it does help to have, sometimes it helps to have somebody else look through it, because they'll see things about your business that you won't necessarily see. We've created the course, the self-directed course, because we want everyone to have access to it. Yeah. And obviously, if that's where your budget is at the moment, then that's a really good place to start, because at least you can start to work out what you don't know, and then if you need help further on, you can always add that on. But yeah, that's the package. So thank you, girls.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Now, to confuse things, do you want me to talk about the profit first question that you have, or do you want to do things separately?
We might do that after.
Okay.
Let's stop recording and then let's chat.
Okay.